Hey everyone, Taylor here from Needle Clankers, and today I thought I would show you how to make these beautiful crocheted wrist warmers. It's perfect for the cold weather that's hit us and the holidays. It's perfect for this time of the year. It's made with a crocheted popcorn stitch here, and then we have some half double crochets here, and the band is made with half double crochets as well. And the measurements for this, it fits my wrist, and my wrist is a 7 3/4, 7.5, right in there. It fits my wrist, and it's about 7 inches in length. Let's go ahead and get started. The supplies you will need to make your wrist warmers are a measuring tape to measure your wrist size to make sure your wrist warmers fit, scissors, a size J crochet hook, tapestry needle, and I always keep these handy. They're optional, you don't have to use them, but I always keep stitch markers handy. And the yarn that we will be using to make our wrist warmers is Comfy Cotton Blend by Lion Brand. It is a number 3 weight, and the recommended crochet hook is a J, which is what we're using. There are 392 yards, and I have one skein, and I've made a set of wrist warmers and a set of boot cuffs. Boot cuffs video will be out shortly, and I'll be sure to put a link in the description whenever it's available. The color we'll be using is Cloud 9, and I will be sure to leave a link in the description box below on where you can find this yarn. Let's get started. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Click the subscribe button below and click the bell so that you always get notified whenever we put a new video out. And for more great patterns, you can check out our website, needleclankers.com, or our Etsy shop, and they will be linked in the description box below. Thank you. Start with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain up 9. To chain, we yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. That's one chain. There it goes. We're going to do 9 of those. 1, no, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's 9 chains. Now I like to go into the back bumps of the chain instead of the front of the chain, but you can choose however you want to do it. Now we're going to put a half double crochet into the second chain from the hook, and I'm going to turn my chain over and get these back bumps here. So yarn over, insert our hook into the second chain from the hook and pull up a loop. We yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all. And we're going to do that all the way down until we have no more chains left. Okay, so I got my half double crochets done, and when you count your stitches, you should have 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's go on to round 2. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to go into the third loop. The third loop, if you'll look in a half double crochet, there's the back loop and there's the front loop, and then if you'll flip it over, there's another loop right here. So there's 1, 2, and 3. we want to go into
this loop right here for the entire time that we're working on these. We're going to do half double crochets into this loop right here. Now this chain 1 that we did doesn't count as anything, so we're going to put a half double crochet into this first stitch right here. Pull up a loop and do a half double crochet. Yarn over, go into this next third loop and pull up a loop and do a half double crochet. And you're going to do that all the way down. Alright, now when we get to this last stitch right here, you can see 2 loops there, we're going to put a half double crochet in both of those loops just so that it leaves a nice finish on the edge. So it doesn't leave any holes or anything. We want a nice finish. Now to do row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and if you'll look, that third loop, push these 2 up front so it leaves ribbing. Now let's go on to row 3. Row 3 is exactly like row 2, and you'll be repeating row 2, row 3, whichever one, you'll be repeating it until you have the length that you need. So you chain 1 and turn, and you insert your hook into the third loop. See, there's 2 loops right there. 1, 2, and there's the third loop. And you're going to be doing half double crochets in them. There's the next one. So yarn over and insert your hook into that third loop. Once you do the first couple, they just pop out so that it's easy to get. And then when I get to this last stitch, I'm going to put my hook through both of the top loops just to leave a nice finish. And you're going to repeat this until you have the length that you want. If you'll look, this is the way it's supposed to go, and you're going to measure on your arm when it's the length that you need it. Then we'll go on to the next part. I did about 18 rows for mine. If you have a bigger or smaller arm, wrist, whatever, you'll want to do more or less rows. As long as you have an even number, you're good. We'll meet back up when we get this done. Alright, I have finished the band of my wrist warmer, and whenever I take and put it on my arm, it goes on comfortably. And I did 18 rows, and now we're going to stitch it together. Instead of using a tapestry needle, I'm going to use my crochet hook and sew it on. Now, this is my 18th row, and I'm going to chain 1 as if I'm going to turn. I'm going to take this side of my cuff and match up the stitches. And because I went into the back bumps instead of the front of the stitches, you can tell where each stitch is. And it's easier to sew. Now I'm going to go into, on here, I'm going to go into the back loop of this, of the first half double crochet, like that. And then in this one, I'm going to go through both loops, like that. And I'm going to pull up a loop through it, and I'm going to slip stitch. Let's do that again. I'm going to go through the back loop of the first half double crochet, and then I'm going to go through both loops on this one, like that. I'm going to pull up a loop through that and through the second one, or the first one, however you want to put it. And I'm going to pull it through this loop. And I did a slip stitch. I'm going to do that all the way down until it's sewed together. Now this last stitch, I'm going to go through both of the loops just to make sure that it's sturdy. I don't want it to have any gaps or holes there, so we're going to go through both. And we now have a cuff. And you can take and slide it on, and it goes on just fine. Okay, we're going to go on to the rest of the wrist warmer, and this is where it might get a little tricky. We have to have 24 stitches in this round right here. I'm going to chain one to start the row. We're going to turn towards the ribbing is facing us, and we're going to single crochet down the side of these stitches, and we need 24 stitches all the way around. So we're going to put a single crochet right there, and put one right there, and you're going to just single crochet all the way down, and we'll make back up. Okay, I'm coming up on my last stitch here, right there, and I'll have 24 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we made. And now we can start the body of our wrist warmer. Now to start, we're going to chain 2, which doesn't count as anything. It's just to get the height that we need. And we're going to make a popcorn stitch. We're going to yarn over our hook, and in that same stitch that we slip stitch to, that one right there, we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're going to leave these 2 on our hook. We're going to pretend that they're not here. We're going to yarn over, and in that same stitch we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop. Now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Now we have 3. We're going to leave those there. And we're going to continue this until we end up with 5 loops on our hook. So that's 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through all of those loops like that. And then in this next stitch right here, we're going to single crochet, which gives this here the pop that it needs. It finishes it. Okay. Now, if you'll look, you take and push it out, and then you've got your popcorn. Now you can make sure they're pushed out after you make them, or you can finish the row and then push them all out. However, I usually do it after I make the popcorn. I usually go and push it out so I don't forget to do it. But we're going to go ahead and do the next one right here in this stitch right there. We're going to yarn over, insert a hook into it, and pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to leave those 2 on our hook. Yarn over, insert a hook into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. And we'll do that until we have 5 loops left on our hook. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on, I need to fix that one. There it goes. Pull through all, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and then pop that out. And you're going to do that all the way around. So yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop and pull through 2, or yarn over and pull through 2, and you're going to repeat that until you have 5 loops on your hook. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through all, single crochet, and then pop it out. And we'll meet back up over here. Okay, so I've almost made it all the way back where I started. I've got my last popcorn stitch to do, and I've got one more stitch here, and it should be a single crochet. You want to end in a single crochet every time. And then if you'll look, here is the single crochet, the first one that we made, and then here's the popcorn. If you'll look, there's the single, oops, here's the single, and then there's 2 loops right here. It's the side of the popcorn, these 2 loops. Here's one, there's one. And you want to slip stitch into that. Like that. Now, to go on to the next round, we're going to chain 1, which doesn't count as anything. And we're going to go back into those 2 loops that we slip stitched into and make a single crochet. Now we're going to go into this stitch right here, which is a single crochet. We're going to put a single crochet in there. And then right there is a stitch. Once you identify all of them, it's not that hard to figure it out. It just, it takes a minute sometimes. It took me a minute to figure it out whenever I was first learning it. There's a stitch. And you're going to want to do this all the way around. Do single crochets all the way around. You should have 24 single crochets. Okay, I've made it back to the beginning, and you'll see here, there's a stitch here, what looks like a stitch, and there's that. This is that slip stitch that you created. It's not a stitch. You'll want to ignore that one. And this here is the chain 1, which doesn't count as anything. So you're going to skip this slip stitch, you're going to skip the chain 1, and you're going to go into the first single crochet that you made. And you're going to slip stitch to it. Like that. And you completed round 2 or round 3 of your wrist warmer. Now we're going to go on to the next round, and what you're going to do is you're going to repeat the single crochet round and the popcorn stitch round until you have the length that you need. So let's go on to round 4. Chain 2. All of the popcorn rounds have a chain, start with a chain 2, and all of the single crochet rounds start with a chain 1. Let's go on and make our first popcorn. This first stitch right here, the one that we slip stitched to, we're going to yarn over and we're going to put a popcorn stitch into that one. And a popcorn stitch is yarn over and insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and you'll repeat that until you have 5 remaining loops on your hook. Let's get some more yarn. And single crochet into the next one. And then you want to push that out so that it pops on the right side. And you'll repeat that all the way down. Like that. Okay, so I finished my popcorn stitch round, and you're going to, next round will be single crochet and then popcorn, and you're going to continue this until you get 5 rows of popcorn. If you'll look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 rows of popcorn, and then we'll go on to making the thumb of the wrist warmer. But you need 5 rows of popcorn, and you're going to have single crochet rows in between them. But yeah, go ahead and work up your wrist warmer until you have 5 rows of popcorn, and then we'll meet back and we'll work on the thumb. Alright, now I have my wrist warmer ready for the thumb. I have 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rows, and I ended on a popcorn stitch row instead of a single crochet row. I ended up on a popcorn row, and we're going to start in on the thumb. So let's grab our crochet hook and chain 1. Now I want to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 10 stitches. So this chain 1 doesn't count as anything, so we're going to put a single crochet into the same stitch that we slip stitched into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 10 stitches. Now we're going to make the thumb hole, which is a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip 4 of these stitches and single crochet into the 5th stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to single crochet into the 5th stitch. And we're just going to single crochet all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it back around, and I slip stitched to the first single crochet that we made, not the chain 1. And we're going to start our popcorn row. And it's just like any other popcorn row. It's just got a little bit different over here with the thumb hole, and we'll get to that. So chain 2, yarn over, and go into the same stitch, and pull up a loop and yarn over and go through 2. Leave 2 on your hook, and you're going to do that until you have 5 loops remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to do that all the way around, and I'm going to meet back with you at the thumb, and we'll go over that together. Alright, I'm at the thumb hole here, and the last single crochet before the chain starts is a single crochet. I did a popcorn and then a single crochet, and then here's the chain. And we're going to put a popcorn into this first chain here. And I'm going to try to make sure that I have 2 loops picked up. And you're just going to do a popcorn like you usually do. Nothing special. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and go through all of them. Now I'm going to go into the next chain here and put a single crochet. I'm going to try, might be a tight fit, but we're going to try to get 2 loops. I'll pop that out so it's on the right side. Now we're going to put a popcorn in this stitch. There's 2 chains left, and we're going to put a popcorn in to the 3rd one. There it goes. This one may not do it. Alright, I got my popcorn there. My hook kept on catching on just a little bitty teeny tiny thread in there, and I had to work with it. But I got it done. And we've got one more chain right here, and we're going to put a single crochet in it. Like that. Now, here's the next stitch. It's a single crochet. We're going to put a popcorn in that one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And single crochet into the next one. And then we're just going to finish the wrist warmer like we normally would. Okay, I've made it back around, and all I need to do is slip stitch into the first popcorn that we made. And that's what we have so far. Now if you look, There's the thumb hole. We have the row of popcorn right there. And now we're going to start in on the border up here on top, and then we'll be done. So let's go ahead and get to that. Alright, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put a half double crochet into that first stitch. And we're going to put 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. And we should have 24 half double crochets once we're finished. Alright, I've half double crocheted all the way around, and I'm going to slip stitch to the first half double crochet that we made. I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to go on to the next round. To start your next row, or round, you're going to chain 1, and we're going to go into the third loop of this half double crochet, and every half double crochet around. So yarn over like you're going to half double crochet, and the third loop is not on the front side this time. It is back here. So if you look, there's the front loop, there's the back loop, and right there's your third loop. So you're going to want to go into that one and complete a half double crochet, which will push these 2 loops to the front, and you're going to do that for every stitch. So yarn over to half double crochet and push these 2 loops forward and grab the third loop in the back. If you would prefer to just go into the back loop only, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. I just like the way this one, the way the third loop finishes off my wrist warmers, but you can go in the back loop if you prefer. And you're just going to do this all the way around until you reach back here. Okay, I've went around with half double crochets in the third loop only, and I slip stitched back to the first half double crochet that I made. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to repeat that round one more time to finish off my wrist warmers. As you can see here, I have 2 rounds of the half double crochet in the third loop. So just chain 1 to start your row again. And you're going to go into the third loop and do half double crochets. And again, you can do back loop only if you prefer. There's nothing wrong with it, and it'll look just as pretty. Alright, I finished off my wrist warmers, and I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn and pull it through and pull it tight, and we're going to hide in our ends. So take your tapestry needle and thread it. We're going to hide in this end here. I just go in different ways until I feel like my end is secure. And I snap my yarn, and I'll do the same thing to over here. Thread your needle. Tug on it a little bit so it's not puckered. And just wave it through until you feel like it's secure. And there you have it. You have your very own wrist warmer. And there's the other one to match. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You have a wonderful day.